Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It is White Rice Wednesday, which means time for my Survivor recap. So to recap on tonight's episode, Liana is pissed because she was blindsided that her main ally, Shan, is gone. And Xander says it's very interesting how even though he has an idol and an advantage, that he was basically on the bottom, but now they're all on top, just like how I described last week. When people are on the bottom and they can work together to make a move, they suddenly flip the game. What I didn't understand is that Liana said that it's stupid to get rid of Shan because Xander still has an idol. But Shan also had an idol, and you sent Shan home with an idol in her pocket, so that doesn't make sense to me. Shan, they were talking about how Shan said that Ricard, if he makes it to the end, she's got his vote. He has her vote, and Deshawn has a problem with him being labeled as a snake in the game, and I agree with that. I don't think Deshawn's done anything to be a snake. He seems like one of those likable characters. I mean, the only way I think that people think he's a snake, which I mean Shan, is that Deshawn saw right through Shan and wasn't gonna let her control his game, and saw how bossy she was, and he wasn't gonna let one person dictate his future in the game, and he wouldn't do what she told him to do. So that's why I think that Shan thinks he's a snake. And him and Ricard had a talk to try to clear his name and kind of clear the Arabic. So I thought that was pretty good. Liana is then, to me, acting like a brat because she didn't get her way in the game, so now she's on the bottom. And now she realizes that she doesn't have a game because her whole game was revolved around Shan. So now she's got to build a Survivor resume, because if she for somehow makes it to the final three, what is she going to say? Shan made this move, Shan made this move, Shan made this move. You know. So Danny then was talking about the anniversary of his dad's death, and that's going to be hard to be out there when you miss things like that, or stuff that's really impacted your life like that. Like, it's hard, and it's one of those things where you signed up for it, but at the same time, people don't know what you're going through. So at the immunity challenge, they had to use their hands to balance this ball in a cylinder. And intervals, they'd add more, which would make it harder for them to balance the ball. And Jeff then added a new twist called the do or die twist. They basically had to choose between a red rock and a gray rock. The red rock means that they can't risk it, and the gray means that they're going to sit out. So basically what that means is, if you choose that you can't risk it and you have to play, that the first person out will have to take this do or die twist. And what will happen is that if you get die, you're gone, and there's no tribal council. You're the one that's gone home. But if you get do, you're safe. You still are vulnerable, but you're safe. And Erica, Ricard, Xander, Deshawn, and Danny all decided to play, and Heather and Liana decided that they wanted to sit out, and Danny ended up winning immunity. So congrats to Danny on winning immunity, and it really was impactful for him, because he was just saying about how he wanted to make his dad proud and everything that happened with his dad. It was really a powerful moment for him. So when they get back to camp, Danny wants Ricard gone. And it makes perfect sense because Ricard probably has the best shot of winning right now if he makes it to the final. So they want to get rid of Ricard, and Erica is wondering, should it be Ricard or should it be Lyanna? Because Ricard, because of the reasons I just said, but Lyanna because she said that she's a snake and a wild card. She's very very sneaky. I mean, so you never know what's going to come from her. So I would think after saying that, you would try to get Lyanna out. And Xander then tells Ricard that Danny and Deshawn are coming for him, so now Ricard has an upper hand there. So at Tribal, they talk about if the do or die risk, if it was worth the risk, playing or sitting out. And apparently it's the last night to play the shot in the dark, and I think we've only had one person play the shot in the dark. So it's very interesting. We went the whole season and nobody was safe from the shot in the dark. So hopefully if that makes it back another season, we'll see it played more. They talked about the Ricard and Deshawn convo, and Deshawn started losing it, and he was talking about not necessarily the game, but what the Black community is going through outside of the game, and how people are just starting to see that how much the Black community has been affected. Like, as a white person, you can walk down the street with your dog, no problem. But if you're a Black person, you walk down the street, you have to worry about getting shot. And Lyanna said something that I kind of relate to in a way. She said that when she goes into a place, it doesn't matter that she's in college or whatever, she is seen as the Black woman. And I relate to that because people, when they hear that I have autism, that's all people see. They don't see that I'm in college, that I've accomplished all of these things. All they see is my disability instead of my ability. So we're different, but I see where Lyanna's coming from. And it was a very powerful conversation. I think it's something that we all need to be more aware of. And Xander recognized his own privilege, which Danny admitted that is important and something that we don't realize how privileged we are. And Heather admitted, she doesn't understand this truly, but she's willing to learn and ask the questions. And Danny says he feels comfortable with this group, that it's important to have allies out there. And I think that's important. No matter what community you're in, it's important to have allies and that support. So the big question of the night is, what's going to happen? So basically, before the vote, we see if Deshawn do the do or die twist. Basically, there's 3 boxes, and 2 of them have skulls, which means, or fire, which means life in the game, you stay. Deshawn chooses the first box, and Jeff opens one, and it's a skull. So now he has a 50-50 shot of picking the right box. Jeff offers him the trade, but Deshawn goes with his gut, and he pulls fire. So Deshawn is now safe, and now the question is who's going to go home. And it ended up being Lyanna that got sent home. And the funniest thing was Shan's reaction. They were so shocked that they voted Lyanna off. I'm like, are you kidding me? They split the vote last week between you and Lyanna. Erica just said that she's very sneaky and everything, like she can't be trusted, so why wouldn't they vote her out? And Xander actually used his advantage. If you saw the Lyanna's exit interview, you saw that Xander used his extra vote to ensure that Lyanna got voted out. So yeah, it was a very interesting episode of Survivor. We're definitely getting to the end here. Next week shows that alliances might be flipped, and it's getting to that end where it's like every man for himself. So yeah, I'm excited. So hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Survivor. If you guys want to check out Survivor, it is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on CBS, or you could stream it on Paramount Plus. And until next time, stay regal.